Speaking of political comebacks, over in the US, Donald Trump's former strategist, Steve Bannon, and I don't know if the word former should be used there because he is still involved, well, not publicly, but he is still pulling a lot of strings. But now he's claiming Trump will find a way to serve a third term. Now, I've talked about this. The US Constitution literally forbids that. But Bannon is talking like it absolutely is going to happen. Have a look at this interview he did with The Economist.
He's going to get a third term. So Trump 28, Trump is going to be president in 28, and people just ought to get accommodated with that.
So what about the 22nd Amendment?
There's many different alternatives. At the appropriate time, we'll lay out what the plan is, but there's a plan. We had longer odds in 16 and longer odds in 24 than we got in 28. And President Trump will be the president of the United States, and the country needs him to be president of the United States. We have to finish what we started. Trump is a vehicle. I know this will drive you guys crazy, but he's a vehicle of divine providence. He's an instrument. He's very imperfect. He's not churchy, not particularly religious, but he's an instrument of divine will. And you can tell this of how he's pulled this off. We need him for at least one more term, right? And he'll get that in 28.
You're not driving me crazy. I'm trying to understand the coherence of the things you've just told me. On the one hand, you've said the Constitution is fit for purpose. Secondly, you've said that President Trump needs another term, even though the 22nd Amendment makes pretty clear that he cannot have another term.
Why does it make that clear?
Because he's on his second term already.
At some point in time, we will make sure we go through, Zanny, and define all those terms.
But you will be undermining the spirit of that amendment, even if you find some way around it.
If the American people, with the mechanisms we have, put Trump back in office, are the American people tearing up the Constitution? Would that be tearing up?
Well,
would the American people be going against the spirit of the Constitution, ma'am?
I think yes, actually, because I think what you will end up with is a populist justification for a quasi-dictatorship.
That's not true at all. Trump
That's what it sounds like.
It's not. Trump is a dictatorship. Did you just see the compromises he had to make on the big, beautiful bill? You see the compromises he has to do on everything, on accommodating Zelensky, on what President Trump. President Trump is nothing but a series of negotiations to kind of keep this thing rolling forward, where he's having trade-offs all the time.
Steve, you've just spent the last 20 minutes telling me we have to smash the other side. There's no room for debate. There's no room for compromise. We must smash them. And now you're telling me this is a negotiation. I mean, that's
no.
I guess that's why it seems to me some kind of tension there.
The only way President Trump wins in 2028 and continues to stay in office is by the will of the American people, okay? And the will of the American people is what the Constitution embodies. And so I think we're going to be in good hands there. We need to finish what we started.
It's interesting, isn't it? I'm just writing this down. The only way Trump wins in 2028 is the will of the American people. So that sounds to me that he is saying, we found our get out of jail free card to let Trump run for 2028, his third term, which all scholars agree is illegal as per the American Constitution. But Bannon, who should never be underestimated, seems to have found a loophole, or a loophole they're going to use when they set the definition. They're deciding they set the definition on what will happen. And he has said, though, there will be an election. So Donald Trump, by what Bannon seems to be saying, could still run for a third term, but it will still come down to the will of the people. All well and good, but we know that in 2020, Donald Trump did not accept the results of the election, even though they were fair. Please don't come at me about that it was a stolen election. It wasn't. And Fox News paid a lot of money because they claimed with the Semitic voting machines, they were claiming that they were rigged. What was it? It was almost $1 billion. It was $780 million or something that Fox News lost to Semitic over that claim. So let's just be clear. The 2020 election wasn't stolen. Now, in fairness to Trump, he won it back in 2024. He is the president. He gets to go on. He gets to do his thing. So it seems to me like Bannon is saying that there will be an election, so Trump could theoretically lose that election and someone else could become president of the United States. But I get scared when I hear that Trump is a vehicle of divine prominence. You know, someone asked me in the comments section of one of my videos, how dare you call Trump a liar? What has he ever lied about? I mean, come on, whether you support him or not, you've got to agree he's a liar. Everything can be fact-checked, usually in real time, about what he says. Can he do some good because he can cut through the crap? Yeah, he can. But he is a liar. And he's about the art of the deal. And when I said he's a liar, and when I have said he's a liar, I do say he stands by his word when he does a deal. He did that with Malcolm Turnbull about us sending illegal asylum seekers over to the US in a deal swap. Trump didn't want them, but he took them because the deal had been signed. So he's a very complicated man. But this idea that he's a divine prominence, I find that weird. And obviously, when they talk about the things they need to do, it's Project 2025. All right? Don't think for a moment Project 2025 wasn't a real thing. Despite the claims that Trump had nothing to do with it, Project 2025 is real and it's happening. Just watch the news and you will see that that's true.
Fun, insightful interviews from a washed-up producer with nothing to lose.